Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us. Today we're going to be talking to Brian Hearns. So I'm going to get him, I'm going to message him and he will join us, and I will be quiet for a little bit because you know it knocks my voice out. So let's go get Brian. Okay, he has been invited. So let's see if he gets that and he will join us live, hopefully in just a few minutes. But I'm really looking forward to talking to Brian. I actually went to school with Brian, so this should be a lot of fun. He is waving and I think he has joined. I just don't see him yet. So let's hope he hops on in a second. I don't know. Sometimes it'll cut my voice out, so I will stop talking. I see him waving, and it says he has joined, but we don't see Brian yet. It says he's coming. These are the things with Insta. Sometimes it doesn't go as smooth as you planned, but Brian has joined. I just don't see Brian yet. We shall see. I can always hop off and hop back on. It says he's unable to join, so I'm going to invite him again. Let's see. Okay, second invite sent. We will see. We had this problem the other day with Ivy. Sometimes it happens. Oh, here he comes. I see it happening as we speak. Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hey, how are you? So Saturday morning, early risers.
Yep.
Yeah, but this will be on replay, so hopefully other people will follow and tune in. The way I like to start these is just by letting you kind of talk about yourself and your work and how you started, where you're at, and then we can kind of go from there. So go ahead. This is Brian Hearns, everybody.
Good morning,
At
everybody.
Livnsol. I guess, we should tell them your hashtag too.
Yeah, the good old Livnsol.
Yeah.
Brian Hearns, abstract artist living here in Chester County, PA. I am father of four, married for 24 years. All the good, all the crazy, everything. It's all worth it. It's all worth the journey. I've been living in Downingtown, or actually been living in Chester County since I got here in Westchester. Went to Westchester University in 1989, and haven't left the area. It's been a saving grace. I've been teaching in the Downingtown Area School District this is my 18th year, and I teach art, and it's been a phenomenal experience. One of the things that I've really cherished about my experience here in Chester County and Downingtown Area School District is the opportunity to help, the opportunity to give, and I guess it would almost seem like an automatic that when you're a teacher, you understand the things that you need to do in order to get kids squared away to where they need to be. But I really I say maybe the last 5 years it has really dawned on me the true essence and the purpose of what I can do, what I can bring to teaching, what I can bring to my students. And not to say that the years before that weren't important. It's just become really a passion to give kids a true understanding of who they are, why they fit, creating safe spaces, allowing them to be who they want to be, who they need to be. And I feel like it's a direct reflection of their future selves. And again, I just love being in a position of being able to help people, being able to help children. I guess my journey started when I was probably third grade or so, where I would take the Sunday comics and take those things up into my bedroom, and I would try to draw every single comic on Sunday. So I guess from about 9 a.m. until about 2, I was basically up in my room on Sunday mornings to mid-afternoon drawing. And It was a really big safe space for me. Um, it was an opportunity for me to really just get away from the chaos that was going on around me, and it was my day. Sunday was my day. So I've been drawing for that long, um, and I tell that to my students, and when I'm talking to my students, my second and third graders, and letting them know that my journey started right at that age level. Also that. I was feeling the same things that they were feeling. There's a beautiful connection that gives me an opportunity to be able to say, I am you, you are me, and we're going to do this journey, because I didn't get that type of mentorship when I was in elementary school. Although I had a great experience, I look back on that experience and I'm kind of like, man, I wish my art teacher would have said this or did this, or allowed me to do certain things. It wasn't so regimented. Um, and now I have that opportunity to do those things, and being able to do it, it's such a beautiful freedom that it allows me to give back to the kids. It also allows me to understand that one of the hard things for them was when there would be sometimes when I would be drawing or creating a project that I've been milling on, and I'd bring it to the classroom, and they'd see me paint, or they'd see me draw, and they'd be interested in things of that nature, but they didn't have the connection of me being an artist, and being an art teacher. They thought they were, I guess, absolutes in their own entity. And them knowing that I am an artist in the community, they look for it now. And even with this new mural for Ella, man, there's been an extended connection with my school community. These kids, they are sponges, and it's beautiful to see.
That is awesome. You gave me chills when you were talking about just, mentoring the kids that you work with through art.
Sure.
Myself, as a young person, I had severe learning disabilities. So I was basically told like I couldn't do anything. And I was like, I was lying basically that I couldn't do this stuff.
Yeah.
So I turned to art myself. It was like, I know I can't do English, I can't do math, but I can do art, I
Right.
can create. So my
Yeah.
world was changed when I was little too. You and I
Sure.
went to school together. We had a nasty professor and things like that change, but it's true. It's true.
It is.
Things like
It is.
that change you in life. And, there's no need for that. And
No.
I think art is so opinion, it's what we love, but you
Hmm.
may see it differently than what I see in someone's pieces. So
Yeah.
when someone breaks you down over things like that,
Yeah.
it's just not worth it. And so much
No.
of your work, I think, has such a beautiful message that it's
Thank you.
beyond the paint. So it's like
Hmm.
you can look at your work and you read those words and it just touches you. And you get that emotional feel from it as well, which I
Yeah.
think is beyond buying a painting, for your wall.
Sure.
It's truly what hits you and what touches you. I have those little cards from you in my kitchen, those little
Right.
mini paintings. I have them like lined
Yes.
up on a windowsill.
Yeah.
I read them all the time because they're just so inspirational. And sometimes, I'll post inspirations like that, but they go away on Instagram. So
Sure.
having your work in someone's home, office, it brings you that brightness every day that the
Yeah.
world doesn't have. So I just
Yeah.
really commend you and love your work. And I'm so happy you joined us. But
Thank you
let's
so
talk
much.
a little bit more about Ella's mural
Yeah.
because a lot of
Okay.
people don't know that.
Yeah.
I actually know Jill myself, and Jill, and I guess Ella was a student of yours.
Yes, she was. I had her since when she started kindergarten. And there's a beautiful progression with students, and I try to get them to understand their progression. And that progression is you only create to what you understand. That's why it's important for you to, I'll suggest, go see that, go to the museum, go do that, because there are so many things that allow kids to unlock almost those gears, to get those gears going. And with Ella, the cool thing about her beginning at Eastward, and then her being there in fifth grade, her work improved dramatically because there was a sense of freedom that she brought to the classroom, and it allowed me to say, do your thing. don't don't here's the project, but do your thing. Just do you. And I love being able to be in that position to allow kids to think they have to ask me a question. And again, this isn't there are certain kids, there are certain students that really need that guidance. But there are certain students that I can see have talent, and my responsibility in seeing that in Ella was the fact that I had enough confidence in her to allow the opportunity or the conversation to be, hey, this is what you're thinking, just go and do it, just do it. And I think there's a stress that is relieved from that, from the act of doing it. I think there's power in that. And I felt like when she came to class, she was locked in. There's no distractions. She was doing her thing. I have, you know, these students that think they have to ask a lot of questions because they think that it needs to be perfect. Ella was a student that wasn't trying to strive for perfection. She was trying to be the best version of her, and that's the type of thing I just loved about the presence of Ella in class. And I discussed that with her mother, Jill. And, our conversations were, Ella's going to do what she wants to do. And I understood that, and I sometimes there's an intimidation piece with that where you feel like, and I'm only speaking for me. I can't speak for other art teachers, but you feel like, uh-oh, how's this going to go? I didn't have that issue with Ella. I knew where it was going to go, and there's a cool confidence about that because you felt like you knew what you're going to get, but you didn't know what you're going to get, and that's the cool surprise. I have some second graders. I have a young man in second grade right now that kind of has that same flow, where he can draw absolutely anything, and he's still asking these questions, and I'm trying to, like, hey, just do. I trust I trust your path. Do your thing. And I felt like, Ella was one of those artists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. You say perfectionism. I came from a world, so I was art therapy with people with mental and physical disabilities for like 25 years.
Okay.
It was an amazing place to work. I loved it. And perfectionism didn't have to be there. They didn't care about
No.
that. They just wanted to enjoy and create, and we made amazing things. Now I work with your regular school kids,
Yeah.
and perfectionism is horrible. I'm like, it does
Yeah.
not have to be perfect. We are not going for perfection. We're
Yeah.
just, learning and creating. But that's like the hard, I mean, just this world,
Uh,
perfectionism, it haunts all of us. So I think
well, in fourth grade, I start taking away the erasers.
that's cool. That's,
Yeah. And it's not done meanly. It's not done,
yeah,
but I'm like, hey, leave that alone. Learn to give yourself the ability of not drawing hard, and draw lightly before you come up with what you want to come up with. And again, that's a learned behavior again that was not taught to me. I could draw lightly and then go back over it when I felt like it was where it needed to be. And I'm nowhere near perfection. I know my lane. People ask me all the time, "Can you draw a portrait?" If you wanted to look like Picasso, sure, I could do that.
same
But
here.
if you want the lines and the facial hair, and nah, that's not me. That is not me. You're not going to get what you want. I
Yeah.
know where my lane is.
Yeah, that's so true. And that's why I love doing these because, you think of an artist and people will reach out and be like, "Can you like draw a family portrait?" And I'm like,
Right.
"No, I draw dog portraits, but I
Right.
can't draw people. Like, you
Yeah.
don't want to see my people."
Hmm.
But it's just they just have that assumption. And I think, like you said, when you paint with your kids, in front of your kids, they're like, "Oh
Hmm.
wait, you can paint too? I thought you were just my
Right.
art teacher and like hand me the supplies."
Yeah.
So it's like you're opening that world for them to
Yeah.
see, like, oh, this is a possibility for me. I am creative. I love this. Like maybe in my future I could be like Brian. And I
Yeah.
think that's just very, very cool. But I'm
Yeah.
sure, there's many kids. I hear
Yeah.
many like positive things from parents about you. So I'm sure the kids, if it's floating home to the parents, then the kids are relating it to them. So
Yeah.
it's
I
awesome.
think so. That's a
Yeah.
good feeling. That's a really good feeling.
Yeah, and I truly have many people that, and I'm not from your area, so, but I
Right.
know people that's kids, go to your school district, and I
Yeah,
hear that many, many times. I wanted
that's
to
good.
touch back on Ella
Yes.
because people that are watching this probably don't realize what we're talking about. But
Right.
Ella was a young lady that lived around here. She was one of
Mhm.
Brian's students, and she had epilepsy, and she went in for a surgery to help her with her future. And unfortunately, Ella passed away. And Jill, her mom, has started a nonprofit, which is amazing. And it's a way of giving back to the community. And
Yeah.
she finds moms, maybe, that just gave birth to a child and are just overwhelmed with other things at home. She finds a laundry service for them, and she will
Yeah.
pay for that. Or if she finds out, they're in need of food or some type of assistance, Jill finds what they need and
Yep.
solves the problem for them. No
Yep.
questions asked. She
No.
covers the bill, and it's just amazing. And Brian, how long is it? A year?
Yeah.
Is it just coming up on a year that Ella's passed? So what Jill has done in that time frame, she's a go-getter. She's
Mhm.
a very happy person. She's just very inspirational to be around. I unfortunately never met Ella, but I'm sure she was a lot like her mom.
Mhm.
And I will, in my bio, I will put all the information for Brian, and I will put Ella's um, foundation's link in there as well if you'd like
Yep.
to do anything. And then Brian recently painted a mural in Downingtown, I guess it's downtown, right?
Yes.
For Ella. And if you look back at my post, it's the last slide has his mural on it.
Mhm.
Why don't you just talk a little bit about the mural and how you came up with designing it, and feeling Ella along with it as you created along with your style?
Sure. Well, one thing that I wanted to point out, Ella had passed in, I believe it was August. I want to say August, maybe July of last year. So we're a little bit over a year, and it's been, the conversations that I've had with the family. It's obviously it's tough. Um, One of the things that I kind of do when there is certain things going on in the community or certain things going on in the world, I do a little bit of writing. And one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to create a piece for the family a couple months after the passing, as my I'm so sorry that this is what it is. So I created a 12 by 12 piece of artwork for the family. And when I gave it to Jill, she was like, um, I, I, I would love to have this in a mural. So I think the very first thing that she wanted to do was to see where we could do it. And the mural project in Downingtown wasn't a thing as of yet. But it was a situation where she's like, I would love to have something of this magnitude created on the wall. And I was on board with it. I was fresh off of a mural in New Jersey, a 12 by 12 mural in my hometown of Ewing, New Jersey, and was really raring to go. So when she said something of that magnitude, it was right where I was just starting to do more murals. Um, so since this time last year, she's been knocking on doors in Downingtown, trying to figure out how we could get this going. And we finally were able to nail down a date, and that was earlier in October. And it was probably one of the most, um, gosh, one of the most fulfilling things that I've done from an art standpoint, because I knew the details of what I wanted to do. I had already had a sketch, an artwork that I had already created. So it wasn't something that I had to reinvent or do anything in that magnitude. It was something that was there, that was ready to go. But it was beautiful. I started 7:30 in the morning. I had a game plan where I wanted to make sure that I got certain things done, but I exceeded that. Stayed until about 4:30. Um, yeah, about 4:30 that evening. So it was a long day, but it was beautiful. Um, Typically in a mural, you can usually project that image onto the wall, and you can kind of like stencil it from that standpoint. But I knew at the very beginning that I didn't want to do that, and I didn't do that with the mural that was in New Jersey. I hand drew everything because I wanted there's a connection that I wanted with it. Although I knew I created it and could transition it to the wall or whatever, but this was a beautiful labor of love, and it went fantastic. The layering of colors, the layering of designs, and it wound up turning out really, really well.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. I just think, and also you mentioned that now Downingtown is going to be having a mural program, which is
Oh
also
yeah,
awesome from the two of you.
phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, like we're starting that. Now there's going to be other opportunities for other artists to
Yep.
make some happy spaces in Downingtown.
Oh yeah.
So that's just really cool itself. So hopefully maybe you'll get to do another one. The sun is streaming in. Usually I've been doing these in the afternoon, so I'm not so
Mhm.
used to the sun in the morning. Um, so I see a lot of your work behind you. Do you have
Yes.
anything you want to like pick up and show people? Brian's work is very like,
Um,
I
let's
mean, I
see.
guess colors kind of vary. I always think of you as bright, but I guess there's other,
Yeah.
colors that.
There's so much in here, Heather.
Oh, well, I mean, I can if you just kind of turn, you can see the piece behind you on the easel. I mean that the other
This guy
way.
right here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can see that one in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just Brian's work, and also go to his page. I will have it linked, but and his stuff is all. It's a variety. It's very cool, and it all has a message. I say it all has a message. Is that true? Like,
It does. Every single piece has a message. You know, when I started doing the art, one of the things when I started doing more of the art, one of my things that I wanted to do, and it sounded like an incredible undertaking, is I want a piece of artwork in every single home in the world. It sounds crazy. It sounds like an undertaking, but my thing is this: I create pieces from my heart. I give everything that I have to every single piece that I've created. It's going to resemble something of positivity, of hope, of remembrance, one of each, whatever the case may be. And the thing that I like about the reason why I create is it changes the way that people can think. It changes. It can change the path of someone not feeling well mentally. It could be a statement that allows them to unlock the freedoms that they've been trying to attain for a long time. And I'm and in no way that I'm saying that I'm medicinal, but the artwork and the words that resonate with you are of medicinal sound that give you the opportunity to be able to be the best version of yourself. So the stuff that I create, I'm hoping gives people the opportunity to be the best version of themselves when they see it, and they can feel it, and allow that to really digest in their mentality.
yeah, I think that's the beautiful part of your work. The words that come out, as I said before, they hit you in a certain way,
Yeah.
everybody in a different way. But
Yep.
your work, if you're, Brian will do different art shows and events, and, people walking by your booth,
Hmm.
just one painting can change
Yep.
their day, change
Yep.
their life, and point them in a different direction. And just to
Yep.
have that inspiration in our
Yep.
homes is incredible, and I thank you for that. I think your
Yep.
goal, hopefully, it is accomplished. But your work, you're truly beautiful. So,
Thank you.
question: what
Yes.
was your very first thing you sold, or I mean, not even like sold, but like
Mhm.
when you were younger, like that you just knew that art was your thing? It sounds like Sunday mornings were.
Yeah, Sunday mornings were a great ambition. There's two things that um, gave me solace to know that art was my direction. One, when I was in fourth grade, we had basically art specials where it was just five students, and we had an opportunity in a 45-minute block, I believe, to do art. From that 45-minute sessions, that is when I started actually doing oil painting. And the art teacher, Mr. Robert Plank, um, would say, all right, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And in the end, we're going to have a show. So I'm thinking, all right, the show be at the school, so on and so forth. I went to Fisk Elementary School in Ewing Township, no longer an elementary school. But we wind up having a group show at the Mercer County Library in New Jersey, and it was the first time that I had my artwork out on display and was like people came to see it. So that was like my first experience outside of school in the public, fourth grade. And the other was in the fifth grade where we had like a field day event, and we were tasked with the opportunity to create a designer logo for shirts for the event. And I turned in this lion that was really detailed. And although my design was not picked, I was told that the design was way too hard to get onto a T-shirt.
Right.
And I've never forgotten that I created something that was so complicated, so detailed that it wasn't able to be used a certain way. And I still take solace in that. I want people to have to think about the work and how it relates to them, even if it's a tough look, if it's a tough task. I like being in that space.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that tough look, tough task, like what right now is inspiring you and kind of what's pushing you, even in the world, like right now with your work?
Right now, I've been doing a lot of writing. And that's one of the things that I kind of switch up to when I'm kind of a little bit of in a lull, or if I'm kind of feeling some things. I've been inspired by some artists on Instagram. And I already have a couple different scenarios and techniques, but I've been going I've been doing sketches of more abstract things, and also working on more word art. I've actually have been getting bigger and bigger. I have this piece that's actually behind the camera that's probably 48 by 20, 24 by 48, that says love, and it's enormous. But because of how big it is, it gives me a lot of space to do more words inside the word. So I've been working on that, and I love being able to walk away from pieces and come back because it feels fresh, it feels new. But I can see where I can add different things, and for me, I think one of the things that I like being able to go back into places is I can step back, take a look, and add my quotes, whether it's Maya Angelou or Dr. King, or Toni Morrison. Um, there's just so many things that I can add to it to give it life, to give it proof of substance.
That's
So right
great.
now, the word art is still cooking. I'm trying to figure out how to implement different things inside those words.
That's really cool. I had a question that I was going to say, like, what was the moment you realized you were an artist? But I mean, I believe like when you were young on Sundays and
Yeah,
drawing, that was
yeah,
your peace time, your time to find you and just
yes,
know that you could focus on yourself. And then with your art, also, I think it answers a lot of questions that becoming an artist and putting your soul into it. And that's why I love your word too. Is that how you came up with that, like Livnsol? Is that always been like a tagline for you, or?
you know what? It wasn't a tagline until it was. My I think I was writing things when I was writing, doing poetry, and again I still do. Um, some of the things that I would have end my poems with was live in soul, live within yourself, understand yourself, get to know yourself. And then I took living soul and shrunk it down, and made it a mantra for people to try to better understand themselves and how they fit in the world. And the way that you fit in the world is to understand or try to understand yourself, and try to listen to yourself and be brave with yourself and take chances on yourself, and allow yourself to grow.
Yeah, brave is a great word there because I think so many of us are just, trained from society to look
Mhm.
like each other, act like each
Mhm.
other, and not be our individual selves. And
Yeah,
especially kids, I'm sure you see that,
right,
one piece of fashion, one popular kid's wearing it, and next week, all,
right,
20 kids have it on. And you're like, wait a minute, what the heck? Aren't we
right.
individuals here? So I'm sure brave is a great word. I
Well,
was
the
going to
other,
say, what?
oh, okay, go ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and I can't be remiss without the bird of virtue. And this bird of virtue started with my kindergarten class, probably in 2009, where children were learning their sight words in kindergarten class, and they would come to art class, and I'd have their sight words too because I'd like to try to repeat those words so they were hearing it over and over again, so they'd start to learn those words. While creating, I was teaching them how to create the bird. At the time, it wasn't the bird of virtue; it was just a bird, but a lot of the shapes of the bird were geometric shapes and letters. And so I gave them an opportunity. Well, I taught them the opportunity of how to create it. But there's a couple students that started putting their sight words at the top of the page. So there would be love or learn or hope or things like that with the bird in the middle and the sight word at the top of the page, which is the mantra for what I do with the bird of virtue. And it's 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 stuck with me. Those kids taught me, those students taught me how to create. And it's just I just love it. Those kids now that were 2009, they're grown ups and they're doing their things. But I still talk with some of my former students, and we break bread. We talk about what's going on, how they're doing, and what do they want to do. And they're in their mid 20s, early late 20s, and it's just an incredible opportunity.
That's really
So,
cool.
yeah,
It's like a full circle moment, you know?
truly
So
is.
you teach like what, kindergarten to what?
Fifth grade.
Okay, fifth grade.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you, I'm sure you don't think so, but are, when someone says like, who was your favorite teacher when you were a kid? I'm sure you are the name that pops up many times. And I think just that window of age till fifth grade is
Hmm.
such a growth and
Yeah.
finding yourself, and to
Hmm.
have you in their lives is,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure just a blessing. So that's just really cool. Another question I had, what
Yeah.
medium do you work with the most? I mean, acrylic, but I didn't know if there's like a certain anything else, or is it, and with writing, are you using like pens, like Poscas or paintbrush?
Here's for me. Acrylic has always been in my life. It's been the easiest tangible thing to use. You can go to any hobby store and get acrylic paint. I use watercolor, but that's one thing that I'm not very well versed in. And again, it's not my lane, but I want it. I want that highway ramp to watercolor. I want to know. I want to know how to do it. I want to know how to be able to control it. For me, it's art, but I don't know enough about it to understand it. So that's one of the things that I want to do. But most of my artwork is usually done, um, um, usually in acrylic. I use oil, but I like the opportunity you get with acrylic where you can blend and do things and it dries fast and you can move forward on it. That's very important to me. The other thing that you had talked about, and it was to do with teaching. One of the things that I had talked about at the very beginning is understanding my purpose with my kids. One of the things that I've really understood in the past 5 years as well was the fact that for my kindergartners, I am their first African American experience. Okay. Their first Black teacher. And I think that's important. I think it's important because I I I can teach compassion from where I am, and I feel like children will get an opportunity to weigh their interactions with me on how they see and perceive society. I think it's important and the one thing that I've garnered over the years in regards to my importance to this school, this district, is children having a perspective of being able to reflect upon their experiences and say, would Mr. Hearns say that? Would Mr. Hearns do that? And if they can weigh their experiences um, and say, you know what, that's not how I was treated, or that's not how Mr. Hearns made me feel, then I've won. Then they've won. and then we evolved one. And I think, I couldn't go away from the conversation without understanding my purpose with being an educator here in Downingtown.
I also think being a man, because I think many
Yes. Hmm.
teachers are women and
Yes.
kids do not have that father figure in their lives sometimes. So having a teacher at school that's a man can
Yeah.
really be life changing and someone that
Yep.
they can talk to or approach and, kind of have that connection. I think that's another amazing thing. And now I'm
Yeah.
just thinking back to college with
Yeah.
our famous professor. You know what? You might have been the best person for me seeing that teacher not being so nice to people because you know
Yeah.
what? You were past it. I think
Yeah.
you probably had experiences like that in your past, and we're like, oh,
Yeah.
great, here we go again.
Yep.
Um, and I mean, it makes me just get kind of like chills and sad that
Hmm.
people out in this world are like that. And
Yeah.
being an artist, your creative mind, everybody has their own expression and things to, it is kind of when we have critiques and things, it's kind of hard to take those. I mean, we've learned
Yeah.
over the years through college, going through critiques and like, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say
Yeah.
you don't like it. I'm okay with that.
Absolutely.
And that's part of the growth rate. Maybe everybody needs to take like a painting class or something and go through a critique because
Yeah.
it's not perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect.
No.
It's what you see in the world and how you bring it to life through whatever your
Hmm.
medium is.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're doing. And I think the
Yeah.
other professor I wanted to talk about that we both had, and I
Hmm.
know was a fabulous mentor to both of us, was
Uh,
Gus. He
yep.
unfortunately has passed away, but he
Yep.
was our painting professor.
Oh
And
yeah.
I remember I was painting on doors, like huge
Hmm.
doors, when usually I'm
Uh-huh.
like these little like 4x4 little things. And to this day, I
Hmm.
still admire Gus, of course, but
Oh, of course.
Rothko and
Yeah.
Lucian Freud were the
Yeah.
two painters that I chose to really like do my senior thesis and stuff
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're still two of my favorite artists. And
Hmm.
those two worlds are kind of like what I want to bring together because Rothko's very modern, crisp, and most people are
Yeah.
like, what the heck, I could do that in a
Yeah.
second. And then you have your Lucian Freud, who's messy and
Yep.
very like emotional and kind of like
Hmm.
grungy. But I
Sure.
just love those two worlds, how they can like come together.
Yeah.
And Gus opened that for me. And I know
Oh,
Gus was a big part of your life. And I'm just
he
thinking
was.
oil, acrylic, like they're the
Hmm.
two things that you really use in your medium box that
Yeah.
you turn to.
Yep.
So yeah, do you want to say anything about Gus? I mean, I know that you really.
Gus. Gus was, Gus was part of the Trinity for me. Um, because gosh, he taught me he really taught me how to paint. Um, he changed the way in which I saw things. Um, the same way that Richard Blake and John
Another.
Baker.
Yep.
Like I said, they're my Trinity. They are my light. I can't say it enough that Blake with sculpture and Baker with ceramics and Gus with painting. They were just absolute stalwarts, are absolute stalwarts to who I am today as a very well-rounded artist that believes in different mediums in order to communicate. Gus taught me everything I needed to know about painting, and he was hard on me from a perspective of you're better than this, and we haven't seen your best yet, but I'm going to get it out of you, and it's going to be tough, and it's going to be okay. And we would talk. We would talk a whole bunch on the phone just to try to keep up with each other and see how how we were doing, and how it was going on. And gosh, man, miss him, miss him.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
really pushed us in
yeah,
ways that you just would have stopped and been like, I'm good, I'm done, and he'd be like, No, you're
yeah.
not. You got
Right,
more in there to do. And you again just gave me like those emotional chills. I, like I said, had like learning disabilities all through elementary, high school. That I didn't want to
yeah,
go to college. It was like my
right,
mom wanted me to go to college. My one sister went to Yale. My other
yeah,
sister went to Moore.
right.
And I was not wanting any more education. I was like, I'm
Hmm.
burnt. I'm done. And my mom pushed me. I was local, so I went to Westchester.
Yeah,
It was the best thing in my life. And like you said, those three people were my trifecta as well. I still see John. I don't see Richard a
Yeah,
lot, but I see
yeah,
John a lot. And
yeah,
they truly changed my life. And
yep,
it was just, who knew that there's people in this world? Because I didn't have that as a little kid, I guess. I had like one or two
right,
teachers that I'd go to weekly to like help me that,
sure,
I saw so much that they kind of assisted me. But those
mhm,
men changed
right,
my life for me to see that I was an artist and it was
right,
possible. And I could
right.
go work with people with disabilities and teach them art, and I never thought I'd have that. So
I'm
maybe
very
we need to
proud of
have like
you.
a party for them or something.
I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
and I'm proud of you too. I just
appreciate it.
reconnecting. I mean, I know we don't see each other, and you
No.
happened to pop up a couple months ago somewhere, and I was like, wait, is that the Brian I went to school with? And I was like,
Yep.
I think it is. Yeah. So I think it's just very cool, and I always thought
It is.
highly of you back then. So I think
Appreciate
it's
that so
awesome
much.
that you
Thank you.
are working with kids
Yep.
and leading them into their future through art and
Yep.
inspiring others by what's on their walls.
Yeah.
So I really, really thank you. Anything else you want to
Thank you.
say? Any places that you're showing? Or, I mean, you're a teacher, so that's a long day. When do
Right.
you have time for your art? I mean, just knowing
It,
myself, like I kind of teach here and there, so I'm not
yeah.
every day like 9 to 5. But
Yeah.
even then, I was like, where do I find time for my art? How do you find time? And you
I don't
found
I
it.
don't know. You fit it in, you get it in. I'll start in the morning and finish in the evening. Weekends. Like I said, I'm in my studio and sometimes it's inspiring, sometimes it's terrible. Like, before we did this morning, my floor was covered with crates and artwork. I clean up the floor so I can have space to actually sit my stuff down and have this conversation with you. Um, you just find a little niche and you go for it. Sometimes it's up on the counter up in the kitchen, then I slowly bring it down here. I got my albums here. I was listening to Nina Simone this morning, cleaning up the room, and you just figure it out and find a way.
That's so funny. I'm laughing
Yeah.
because I'm sitting in front of a table that's
Uh-huh.
full of my gel plate. I have canvases I'm wearing. It's
Sure.
like it's
Yeah.
everywhere. So I'm
Yep.
laughing because yes, that's the
You had
same
made
world.
a statement that where am I at? Where am I doing right now? It's kind of a tough situation right now. I'm just got a couple things going on with older family members, just trying to make sure that they're taken care of. So I haven't been doing too much of shows, but a
Okay.
lot of my materials are at Cricket's um, um, Antique Lawn and Garden up in Honeybrook.
Okay.
They are open 10 to 5 during the week and nine. I'm sorry, yeah, 9 to 5 during the week, or 10 to 5 during the week and 9 to 6 on the weekends. And it's a phenomenal antique store. Also has flowers and things of that nature. But I'm one of maybe two other artists in the first and second floor. So it's a great walkthrough. Bring a coffee with you because Crickets is a phenomenal place to be. It's majestic. You see a lot of great things that bring back memories, but you see a lot of intricate things that you'll be taking home. So
That's cool.
uh, go to Crickets.
Where? So it's in Honeybrook, you said?
Yeah, it's right off of 322 before you get to 82.
It's not that huge white place. No,
It
the
is on the
barn.
right hand side. Yeah, the
Oh
barn.
yeah, with everything like outside.
Oh yeah.
I've never been. I passed a
Oh
thousand
girl,
times. Oh, okay. Maybe,
girl, you
so is it
gotta
open?
go.
Is it open Sundays?
It is.
Okay. Well,
It's open nine to
maybe
six.
tomorrow.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. I'm teaching today, so not today, but maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we've talked long enough. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank
Um,
you so much. I appreciate you, Heather. Thank you so much.
yeah, and I will put Brian's info in my bio on my link tree, so you can go and click to get to Brian. His work is amazing. Please go check it out. You will be inspired, and it'll just brighten your day. So. Um,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it for now. Thanks so much,
All right.
Brian. Have a great
Thank you.
Saturday. Enjoy your
Thank you so
family.
much. Truly
Okay.
appreciate you. Continue to love life, live your life, live in soul out.
Thank you. See
All
ya.
right. Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.